Hey guys, it's Corey and Tiffany, and we're the co-founders of Investor Life.
And we help investors scale their portfolios using other people's money. Fearless, welcome to another Tactical Tuesday.
Welcome to another Tactical Tuesday. We have a really cool topic that we're going to be talking about tonight. This, guys, I hope is a scenario that shows you the power of leveraging your money.
We help investors take their portfolios from 2 or 3, 5 properties maybe, up to 15, 20, 50 properties if that's what they're wanting to.
Really, the sky's the limit. And we help investors scale their portfolio.
For our free weekly live trainings that we do over there on Facebook. Thanks for...
Hey guys, it's Corey from Investor Life, and Tiffany just stuck out her tongue at me. Okay.
Yeah, that was a bad rendition. But guys, today, what wrecks people in real estate? We're going to be talking about that, and we're going to make sure that it doesn't happen to you. Welcome, everybody, to our Tactical Tuesday. It's November the 7th, 2023, believe it or not. And we have a cool topic today, something we've never done before. And I'm relying on you guys tonight, okay? So, you know, for 200 plus episodes of our Tactical Tuesday, we've come on here and we've tried to answer questions or bring you a topic that is real estate related. We've had many ask us anything, where you can ask us any question you want, real estate or not real estate related, and we've been able or tried to at least answer your questions or point you in the right direction. But tonight's a little different. Tonight is the first time ever in our 200 plus episodes that we are asking you anything. So guys, tonight we are kind of relying on you to provide us with some answers, provide us with a little feedback, throw some comments in the chat. Tonight, guys, is all about you guys providing a little feedback in the chat, okay? So I have some questions for you. Is that okay? Throw it in the chat. Is that okay if I ask you questions instead of you asking us questions? Are you okay with that? Let me check the chat here. So we have people from Ottawa, Moncton. Love the intro. Thank you, Lisa. Panorama, I know who that is. North York, Ontario, Edmonton, Canmore, Fort Saskatchewan, Portugal, Cape Breton. Lisa, you said you're okay with that. That's good. Red Deer, Crystal, thanks for joining us tonight, guys. And tonight is an Ask You Anything. So I have a few questions because, you know, we've been doing this for, well, let's say it's been 4+ years since we started our Facebook community here in Fearless. That was back in roughly, I would say, March of 2019, we opened this group. We started growing it from that point on, and we are well over 7,000 members here within this group now. And so I have some questions for you that would be great feedback for us. And so, you know, several times we've done the Ask Us Anything. I want to ask you guys some questions. So if you're okay with that, that would be great. So let's get started, guys. We have Angie from Saskatoon. Yes, Ermel. Moi? Well, maybe. Yes, I'm going to ask you some questions too, Ermel. And Caledon, Ontario. I'm not sure I've ever been there, but anyways. I have my first question, okay? Let's get started, guys. I have a question for you, and I'd love to see you guys throw your response in the chat. So we have 21 of you live right now, and I know more are going to join and as our night goes on, but I have a question for you. What got you interested in real estate investment? Okay, I'm going to stop there. Throw it in the chat. What was the first thing that got you interested in real estate investment? Like, why are you all in this whole thing of real estate investment? And we're going to go from real estate questions to questions that are completely unreal estate related. back to real estate. We're going to go back and forth tonight. Okay. We're going to try to have a little fun with this. And nothing too serious. Don't worry. Just throw your answers in the chat. Guys, I want to know a little bit about you. Okay. So that's the whole point of this. Jules wanted to own our own home. What got you interested in real estate investment? Angie, it was in our blood. Our parents were investors themselves without the language or education, but we watched and learned. Absolutely. That's awesome. It was in your blood. Another Facebook user says passive income, time, freedom. I always loved the whole thing about it. It was within reach, feasible, doable. Wanted to have something that was my own and I had full control of. Good answers, guys. I wanted to financially support my in-laws who will have to retire soon and won't be getting full CPP. Prospect of income for retirement. I knew it was solid and no pension at work. Started too old. It was solid. So, like, where did you find out about real estate investment? I'm curious. Like, so for all of you with these awesome answers, okay, you wanted to retire, get more time with family. Like, where did you find out about real estate investment? So we're all going along our lives. We're not taught this in school. We go out and we get a job. We're continuing with our lives. We maybe get married. We have kids, whatever the case might be, family-wise. What switched you over to real estate investment? Okay, so like what created that interest? What made you think this is something that could potentially create that freedom or could potentially create an income for retirement or could potentially get you to where you wanted to go? I'm curious. Okay, guys, your feedback will help us in coming episodes. Okay, so this is what we're looking for here. So one of our Facebook users says it was just fluke. Okay, awesome. Scott McGilvery, good friend of ours. Absolutely. I'm glad that he was able to introduce that to you. That's great. A friend asked to invest with them, says one of our members here. My first intro was a presentation I went to by Darren Weeks, Lisa says. Yeah. That was probably one of my first intros to real estate investment as well, was a one-day event by Darren Weeks, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Throw it in there, guys. I want to know. This is important for all of us to know because the more we know, the more we can help you. Okay. So what got you interested in the first place? That's kind of what our question is right now. HGTV. Yeah. How many of us have watched a real estate program? Do you guys remember that program on HGTV? It was called Trading Spaces. How many of you remember that program? That was probably 10 to 15 years ago. Tiff and I watched that all the time, where they would trade spaces and they would renovate each other's space. And then they would go and see the results of that. Do you remember that show? That was one of my favorites. Yeah, so a few of you remember that as well. So one of the first starts for us was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read that book. Tiff read it first. She introduced it to me. I read it, and it made a ton of sense. And then we went to a Darren Weeks Rich Dad, Poor Dad event. We played the cash flow game, and out of the couple hundred people that were there, Tiff and I, our table ended up winning that game. We were the first ones to win the game. And that was kind of our first introduction to real estate investment and kind of buying assets that make you money and understanding the business side of things, because we were business owners at that point, but we had never really seen the power of real estate investment and buying businesses and passive income and that sort of thing. So that was really, really cool. Yeah, so a lot of us guys, HGTV kind of introduces us to this, right? Like, how many shows are out there in real estate investment that kind of say, hey, this is what you can do. You can flip houses, or you can make money this way, make money that way. And that kind of introduces us to that concept of real estate investment. Okay, my next question, guys, is you are here in Fearless. How did you find it? Can you let us know? How did you find this Facebook group? Were you introduced to it by somebody else that was a real estate investor? Were you recommended? Did you just find it because Facebook recommended it? Like, why, how did you end up getting inside of Fearless? I'm curious. So throw that in the chat, because we would love to know how you found us and how this group has grown from, maybe 150 different investors that we knew when we first started it to several thousand investors now that are here within this group. Yes, we appeared on 30 Minutes to Wealth. We appeared on, we've been on several shows. So yeah, that could be why. Okay, just found it. So one of our Facebook users, I don't see your name, but you just found it. So thank you for coming here. That's awesome. Tony Miller introduced you, Alberta Landlord Community. Really, Lisa? I didn't know that. Okay. Keyspire Investor Summit. Yep. Referral from another group. Good to know, guys. This helps us to understand where you're coming from, because you're obviously here for a reason. You're obviously here and listening to this live, our Tactical Tuesday, for a reason. And so that's awesome. Karina at a summit with Keyspire. Yes. We met a lot of you there. We got a lot of thanks for Michael and Scott for that opportunity, for being at Keyspire and meeting a lot of you there. So that's really cool. Okay, so thank you for that, guys. Remember, tonight, guys, is a little different. I'm asking you the questions, so I need your responses in the chat, okay? What was what clicked? At what point did it make sense for you to say, I want to get involved as a real estate investor? What was it? What was the point where you had your aha moment, or you had your realization that this is something different than getting involved with other types of investments out there? Like, when did that happen? Okay, I hope I'm asking that question correctly, but if you can kind of get the point of what I'm saying, is at what point did you see, like, I'll share you my story, is that when I finally realized how, if I bought one property and one property only, and I owned it for 25 years, and my tenants paid off my mortgage, and that property went up in value, and I cash flowed the entire time, or even part of the time, how much farther I would be ahead. That was like realizing that and thinking about it more long-term. That was my aha moment. Realizing that somebody else can be paying down debt for me while that asset goes up in value. That was something that I hadn't been introduced to until I started learning this stuff. And that was kind of my big, wow, yeah, this makes sense. Now, what if you did that more than once? What if you did that twice? What if you did that 3 times? And then you can just start to multiply it more and more from that point on. So what about you? What was your aha moment? Okay, so I'm going to read different strategies, but maybe that's what you chose to do, Amanda. Living for free. Is that a plus in today's interest rate environment, in today's rental market? Absolutely. That I could leverage the investment in my home to purchase investment property? Absolutely. Use the equity you have in your house right now, sitting there doing nothing. Put it to good use. If cute girls can do it, I can do it. LOL, says one of our members. Okay. Yeah. House hacking right out of high school. You can see the gains that came from real estate. 24 years old, starting to have roommates pay my mortgage. Yes, Karina, that's where it starts, right? As a self-employed real estate, it was the easiest way to be able to retire in the future. Absolutely. So like what made you think, wow, I can retire from this? Okay. That's what I want to know. Like, what was that actual click spot where it was like, wow, like I've always heard about real estate. We always hear all the millionaires, blah, 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 come from real estate. They invest in real estate. But there's usually some spot or point or book or a quote or somebody that kind of assisted us along the line that maybe said, okay, well, this is the spot, guys, where this actually makes sense for me. Mandeep, after I see my father, who was a welder, bought 5 houses, he used various strategies, buy and hold, using JV Partners RRSP funds. So learning from parents. Rented my basement suite, says Amanda, and had a roommate. Okay, that's house hacking. Absolutely. Corey, the leverage in real estate isn't attainable with any other investment. Absolutely. Leverage in real estate is the whole key to it. That's what makes real estate amazing. We leverage the bank's money. We leverage partners' money. Winning Monopoly board game when I was young. Not aware that I already chosen my path. Who here likes Monopoly? Throw it in the chat. Do you like Monopoly? I love playing Monopoly. There's very few people around me that like to play it because it takes so long sometimes to play a game. But whenever I get the chance to play Monopoly, I absolutely love playing it. It's fun. Yes. Lots of books, one of our Facebook users says. Guys, if you want us to see your name, then just Jules will put in the chat here the link. You just go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and it'll give the permissions, and then we can see your name. So some of you I can see your name, some of you I can't. There you go. Jules just shared the link. Mandeep, my kids play it all the time when I shut the technology off. Awesome. Great game. Who here has played that cash flow game that Rich Dad Poor Dad Kiyosaki put out? Have you played that cash flow game? That's a game where it's similar to Monopoly, well, kind of, but you kind of go around the board and you try to buy businesses, you buy stocks, you buy real estate, different forms of real estate, and you kind of start to try to get out of the rat race. That's the point of it. You have a specific job. And it's interesting in that game is that the least amount of money that you make. So if you're a janitor, you can get out of the rat race easier than a doctor. Doctors make more money, but now they have more expenses and more lifestyle to cover to get out of the rat race, right? So it's easier the less amount of money that you make. It's easier to get out of that rat race and have passive income where you don't have to work. So good game. Jules, yes, we should play that game together at some point. We haven't. It used to play with our kids all the time. Good for you, Lisa. Yeah, it's a good game. Okay, so let's change the topic now, guys. We've been talking about real estate a little bit here. We're going to change the topic to something that's a little less real estate related. I'm asking you anything. So jump on board with me here, guys. Let's see. What is the biggest thrill sport you have ever done? Throw it in the chat. So thrill sports can be anything. For some of you, a thrill sport might be, I don't know, snowboarding. For some of you, a thrill sport might be jumping out of a plane and parachuting. Tell me what has been the biggest thrill sport you have ever done in your life, okay? Let me see here. Sarah, parasailing. Okay, how high did you go, Sarah? I'm curious. When you were parasailing, I've never done it. Crystal, skydiving. That is an absolute thrill sport, Crystal. I've seen pictures of you doing that, and that is amazing. You're braver than me. Scuba diving with sharks, Angie. I would do that in a split second. Skydiving, Amanda, way to go. Whitewater rafting, skydive. A lot of you have skydived. Wow. ATVing. Cricket, says Urshad. Cricket. Come on, Urshad. That's not a thrill sport, is it? Maybe it is, but I've never played. Actually, I have played cricket. It's a lot of fun. I did that once, but I wouldn't call it a thrill sport, Urshad. Come on. Bungee jumping, Amber. Cross-country horse jumping. Okay. Jumping on a horse, yeah. Backcountry mountain sledding. Okay, Craig. Well, Craig, I don't think that, going down your driveway counts. So just so you know, yeah. Black Friday shopping at Walmart, rock climbing, full tackle origami. I don't even know what that means. Angie, it's a date. Okay, you're on. I can't remember what it was that you said. Let me go back. Angie. I lost it. Sorry. It's a date doing something. Sounds good, Angie. Riding world-class roller coasters. That is fun. Hey, Jules. I love doing that too. Rafting in Malaysia. Mike says riding a KTM is pretty risky. Absolutely, Corey, because they break down all the time. Hella skiing. Yes, that is a thrill sport, Amber. I would love to do that. Tortilla slap challenges. Me and Mike did that, Corey's husband. And next time I do that, I was taking it easy on him this time because I didn't want to, embarrass the guy. But next time I'm not gonna be so easy on you, Mike. All right. Patrick says 200 feet. Wow, way to go, Sarah. Diving with sharks. Yes, diving. Oh, right. Thank you, Angie. Diving with sharks. I would totally do that. I would do that. Okay, cool. Good answers, guys. That's pretty cool. Those are some pretty big thrill sports that you've done. Let's switch back to real estate, guys. I want to know, what is one tip? Okay, this is a sentence long. One tip you would give to a newbie getting involved in real estate investment. You have the chance to give only one tip. Okay, what would that be? If you're somebody comes up to you and they say, I want to get into real estate investment. I've been reading, I've been learning, I think this is good. What is one tip that you would give them? Share that with us, okay? Gregory Klein says, get some good coaches. Another Facebook user says, educate yourself, get connected with the real estate investment community. Mandeep says, do a flip. Lisa says, read. These are good answers, guys. It sounds, Amanda, network. It sounds like a lot of these answers are just like, get to know other people, learn, educate. Lisa, just start, do something. Don't just get stuck trying to figure it out. Just do something. And then Sarah on the flip side says, don't do it on your own. So maybe find somebody to do it with, but just do something, right? Good tips. Amber, I love your tip. Join Ignited. That's a great tip. Absolutely. And we're so happy that you guys joined us. Every day, take one small action toward your goal. That is a great tip. Grow with others in the real estate investment space. That doesn't mean just doing your thing and be positive. Talk to people, learn from people. Guys, that's what this is all about, is learning from others, isn't it? Ask lots of questions and learn by doing. There's no better teacher, guys, than making mistakes yourself. However, if you can skip many of those mistakes, you're still going to make them. But if you can skip some of them because you learned from someone else, or you were coached properly, or you educated yourself properly, why wouldn't you want to do that, right? Pay for your education ahead, or else the tenant will make you pay for it 10 times in the future, says Sam. That is so, so true. Good tips, guys. Thank you for sharing that. Those are all good tips that we can pass on to newbies. So for those of you that might be watching, and this is, you're kind of new to this, or you're getting involved in real estate investment, these are tips that are coming from people that have been doing it for quite some time, maybe own several properties. So take this to heart and think about what these people are saying. Karina says, ask lots of questions, learn by doing. There's nothing better than just getting out there and doing something, and then you learn what to do. But if you have somebody to back you up, if you have coaches, mentors, if you have other people that you met in the real estate investment community that can help you or answer your questions, that's what Fearless is all about, guys. We charge you nothing for being here and sharing this information. And that's really what this is all about. Good, Ermel, start, just do it, start. Absolutely. Okay, let's jump off of real estate now. We're going to go back to another question, which I think is kind of interesting. I don't know. Maybe some of you think this is a little hokey, but if you could go back in history at any point, what time in history would you like to go back to and live? Maybe some of you prefer when the time in history we're living in now. Maybe you prefer sometime in our last century. Maybe it's millennials. Was that the right word? Millenniums back. What time in history, if you could go back into any time in history on this human earth, on this earth, when would it be? When would you like to zip back to? Okay. Let's see here. 2004 in Alberta. Good answer, Lisa. Yeah. I don't know how many times I've thought, man, if I could go back to when we bought our first house, buy a few more back then. Craig says the 60s, great music and great cars. I will agree with you, Craig, on the music. 1980, one of our Facebook users says. Okay, throw some more in the chat, guys. Time in history, really, like out of the entire, let's say, several thousands of years that humans have lived on this earth, all the answers so far have been in the last 60 years. That's when you want to go back. Sarah, 2021. 1977. The 90s, says Amber. Okay. The first century, says Jules. The first century. Interesting, Jules. Why the first century? I'm curious. Just as tractor wear started to be a thing, a game where okay. All right, Karina. Post World War II, 1950s. So really, most of you, except for Jules, who wants to go back to like the first century, most of you still prefer to be within our last 100 years. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Why? Like, tell me why the 1950s? Why 1977? Okay, well, you told us. Why 1975? Why 2004? Share your thoughts, guys. Sam says, my year one university, play too hard, should better use that time to build a business, not party. 1920s for the fashion, says Angie. Interesting, guys. Great comments. Love it. So yeah, interesting. You know what? I thought some of you would say, I don't know, something completely different. Like back when, back in the first century, like Jules said, when Jesus was on earth, or back in, before that, I mean, humans have been on earth for a long time. So there's a lot of choices and everyone's picking the last 100 years. But I get it. We like our conveniences, right? I don't know that I would want to go back much farther either. Life was simple. Okay, let's go back to real estate. What is the hardest part of being a real estate investor? That's our next question, guys, for you. What do you find, you personally, what do you find is the hardest part about being a real estate investor? Throw it in the chat. I'll give you a minute. What's the hardest part? Evictions, says Angie. What's the hard part about an eviction, Angie? Is it the relationship you had with that tenant that gets soured, or is it dealing with the paperwork or having to go to court? Urshad, after all the success in the last 3 years, banks will not lend anymore. So getting mortgages, dealing with banks, that's a hard part. Absolutely. Mandeep, making a commitment, analysis paralysis. Karina, when something goes wrong, you need to drop everything. Like, what goes wrong, Karina? Throw it in the chat. Like, what goes wrong? What's the hardest part? Renos, I hate rentals, guys. It's one of the things in real estate investment I just can't stand doing. I don't like doing it myself. And so we started out doing it ourselves at the very beginning, and I'm just not a fan of doing it myself. So I get others to do it for me, which do a much better job than I could. So many to choose from, says Lisa. Tenants, difficult tenants. It's probably the most difficult. I agree with you there, Lisa. Sour relationship, says Angie. Finding the money to buy everything I find, says Greg Ermel. Creating a sustainable deal flow. Big gaps in projects, not fighting with overpriced buildings. So keeping that acquisition rate going kind of thing, Ermel. Angie, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Although I kind of got a guy here, Angie. Yeah, I've just found somebody that is willing to do some renos for me. He knows who he is. Thank you, though. Sam, it's a great investing model, but hard to get family and friends around me to understand. Guys, have any of you gotten into real estate investing and your family and friends think you're nuts, think you're crazy, try to talk you out of it? That happened to us. So Sam, I get that, what you're saying. Amber, going from working hands on doing everything ourselves to now having a team and being more hands off. That's difficult. Although rewarding down the road, I think, Amber, I think you will really appreciate that at some point. Deal flow, having family members fight over properties. Yeah, that sucks. Water issues that pop up, difficult tenants. Angie, you're pretty darn close. Yeah. Let's see here. Family, Debbie Downers. Yes, Greg, I get it 100%. So these are all things, guys. And for those of you that are new, see what the experienced people are saying. That is some of the hardest part about this. It's kind of dealing with some of the family and friends and, convincing them that what you're doing is not crazy, and maybe some difficult tenants that we have to deal with, dealing with renovations. These are all things, we can go on. This group is called Fearless Real Estate Investors for a reason, because we want to reduce the amount of fear. However, it doesn't mean this is a no fear real estate investor group. Like, it's not like we can remove all the fear. We're all going to still have it, and that's okay. We need to have a bit of fear. It keeps us honest. It keeps us going the right direction. Okay, let's switch back. Who is the most influential person? This is a non-real estate related question. Who is the most influential person in your life? Throw that in the chat, guys. Remember, this is an ask you anything. And so I get to ask the questions. Who is the most influential person in your life? Yes, this might be a little personal. That's okay. Throw it in the chat. That's deep, says Jules. Yes. I love it. Jules, I want to know who your answer is. So you gotta answer now. My kids, they influence everything I do. Great. Jesus. Okay. Man, deep. My uncle in Edmonton, very street smart about life in general. Really? Good for you. Great to have somebody that is related to you that is that influential. Who has influenced you? Throw it in the chat, guys. Who has changed the direction of your life? Who has kind of made your life, for the better? I guess that's kind of the question we're asking here. Who has kind of steered it towards something better than it would have been if they weren't in your life? Yes, it might be a little bit deep. But this is, this is what it's all about, guys. Okay. So, Urshad, where I work, you know what I mean. That's not a person though, Urshad. Come on. What person has been the most influential? Greg, my children and wife, it's all for them. So you have I get what you're saying. Our children, our wives might, okay, I could see our wives being influential. Are our children influential in making decisions for us? Maybe. Karina, my mom, 78, and she still wants to help with renovations, cleanings. That's pretty cool, Karina. Craig, haha, Corey and Tiffany. That's awesome. Seminar with Scott. I hate to admit it, but my hubby, Darcy, says Lisa. Corey or Tiffany, it's a toss-up, says Sarah. The person I hope to be in 5 years. That's an influential person. My company CEO, he makes me want to retire. That is awesome, Greg. Yes. So those that we work with sometimes influence us so well that we don't want to work with them anymore, right? Jules, okay, yeah, you're just okay. So some of you are sucking up now. I get it. Amber, my auntie Donna. Okay. Angie, definitely my hubby Andrew. But one of the most influential people in my life is Mopra. She knows who she is. Okay. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about, Angie. I think her first name starts with M and her last name starts with R. Okay. Sarah, don't make me choose. You got to choose, Sarah. Come on. You got to choose. And if it's Tiffany, I get it. I would choose Tiffany too. In real estate investment, I work with Adrian Leeds of House Hunters International Server Investment. Okay, cool. You got a course, says Greg. Mike and I influence one another. That's so sweet, Corey. All right. Good answers, guys. Good answers. It's interesting, like who actually influences us? Who starts to change what's going on in our head, like actually change our mindset from one mindset that maybe we grew up with to a different mindset and thinking about things a different way, more of a positive way, or maybe more of a way that will lead to financial success or emotional success, spiritual success, whatever it might be for us, where we kind of go towards more success. Sometimes there's something that just kind of clicks, or somebody that influences us that we respect a lot, that we kind of say, you know what, this person has been there and done that. And so because of that, I then now respect them and I will kind of follow their lead. And, sometimes for us guys, that might be more difficult to admit to. Whereas I think, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think the ladies out there have more of an inclination to do that. And I could be wrong on that, but I think that they're a little smarter in following someone else's lead than sometimes us guys can be. Because we tend to think we can just do it ourselves, right? We don't need someone to lead us. And that can be a downfall at times. How about you, Corey? You know what? This isn't an ask us anything, Craig. I'm sorry, but this is an ask you anything. So I don't have to answer that question tonight. All right, so let's get back to real estate. What has been your biggest win in real estate so far, guys? That's our next question. What has been your biggest win in real estate investment? Has it been a check that you got from your lawyer? Has it been a property you bought, a property you sold, a partner that you brought on? What has been your biggest win in real estate investment? Maybe a mentorship that you signed up for, or maybe somebody you met, or an influencer that you are now friends with. There's so many different things in this genre that we could be talking about, but what is the biggest win that you have had in real estate investments so far? Throw it in the chat, guys. Lisa. My sixplex 3+ years ago, Karina. That's a win. Absolutely. Deciding to get in the market in 2013 before Toronto became unaffordable. That is an absolute win. Well done. the fabulous people and friends we've made along the way. That's an absolute win as well, Lisa. Still yet to come, but our chalet and panorama. So far, our chalet and panorama. That's a big win, Amber. Yeah. When I bought a duplex in Sydney, Nova Scotia with no mortgage, that's pretty cool, Ershad. My best partner. The friends that have come into my life, says Sarah. Equity, leaving Edmonton in 2007, moving to Saskatoon, says Angie. Finding partners and my wife, says Craig, I'm assuming. Land in Florida that you sold, says Mandeep. Yes, an extra 30% definitely helps. A win to get the wife on board. Set up our mutual fund trust. Now we have a simple platform for family and friends to join our investment journey. Pretty cool, Sam. Those are all big wins, guys. So congratulations on that. That's awesome. So one of the biggest wins when it comes to real estate investment that we've had was just seeing the reaction of one of our joint venture partners once we kind of cashed them out and we sold some of the properties. We bought some properties off of them. We kind of cashed them out of our partnership, and it far exceeded the amount of money that we had originally had promised that they would receive at the end. It did take a few years longer, but it was more money than they originally were planning on getting. When we cashed them out, and to see their reaction and to see the fact that their life was going on a different path than it was before financially, and they were able to do some of the things that they were wanting to be able to do that they couldn't have done if they didn't invest with us. That was probably one of the biggest wins that we had, and that happened probably like 8-9 years ago now. And it was pretty cool to see that. And so sometimes, guys, just seeing, like sometimes it's we make some money and we deposit a check into our bank account, but then when we write that check to somebody else and you see what it's enabling them to be able to do, that can absolutely be a big win as well. Okay. Non-real estate related. This is our last non-real estate related question. If you could go for lunch with anybody in the world that is alive right now, who would it be? So if I made the phone call for you tomorrow and connected you with this person, whoever it might be, and said, yeah, you're going to meet them here, you're going to go for lunch, you're going to have 2, 3, 4 hours to spend with them, who would you want that to be? Throw that in the chat, guys. Who would you want to spend a few hours with? Somebody that, don't say your mom or your dad or something like that, because you can do that. Who would you want to do? Somebody that is alive right now that you could go and do this with, okay? Who would that be? Let's see the answers. Lisa says Oprah. Sarah says Oprah. Oprah. Alfonso says one of our Facebook users. Ershad. Oh, you're sweet. Come on, guys. Throw it in the chat. And share with us. Who would that be? Who would that be? Hugh Jackman. Angie says Tiffany. Ershad, we had a dinner planned with you when we were doing our cross country and it just didn't work out, and I still feel bad for that, but we did get to spend some time at one of our meetups, so that was good. Come on, guys, you got to have some more answers to this, so throw it in the chat. If you could go out for lunch with anybody, or maybe it's not lunch, maybe it's spending 4 hours with somebody doing something. what would it be? Ryan Reynolds. You know what is funny about this is if somebody asked me 10 years ago who it would be, that's when my answer was always the same. And this was when, what was it called? The Apprentice was out. And my answer was Donald Trump, believe it or not. And I said, you know what? I would love to go and just spend an afternoon with Donald Trump. That would not be my answer now. And I'm not saying that because of any political leaning side, this side or that side, but that's who it was back then. But now it would be somebody different. And the first name that comes to mind, because I'm into golf, is Tiger Woods. I would love to just go and play around a golf with Tiger. That would be amazing to me. Or Celine Dion. Yeah, Jules, that's pretty good. Taylor Swift. Yes, I'm a Swiftie. I'm a Taylor Swift fan. I'll just throw that out there so all of you can make fun of me for that. Hugh Jackman. Elon Musk, says Amanda. Trump. So somebody did say Trump. Look at that. Elon Musk or Joe Rogan. Taylor Swift, says Karina. There you go. Why not, eh? She's brilliant. Interesting, guys. I love it. There we go. Okay, well, we've spent 48 minutes now kind of talking about some of our real estate questions. I've asked you some real estate questions and some non-real estate related questions too. And so this is a good way, guys, to kind of get to know one another as a fearless family and to kind of just see where everybody is at. And this is the first time we've done it. So I don't know. I thought it was kind of fun getting to know each of you a little bit better. Thanks for commenting with us tonight, guys. So Amanda, Urshad, Greg, Craig, Angie, everybody else that commented tonight, guys, Jules, Sam, being a part of this, Amber and Karina. We really appreciate that because you know what? You guys throwing your comments in the chat like this definitely helps to kind of keep it going, kind of helps to get to know one another a little bit better. It's pretty cool. I like it. Nothing wrong with being a Swift fan, says Greg. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. For those of you, Tiffany and I watched, what's it called? It's called Miss Americana. It's on Netflix. It's on Taylor Swift. After watching that, I don't think anybody couldn't be a fan. I think she's pretty cool. Okay. Well, there we go, guys. That's going to be it for our Ask You Anything tonight. And thanks, guys, for sharing some of the little tips for our newbies as well. Some of the real estate related stuff that, I think some of our newbies can learn from because, as much as sometimes you come on here to learn something, it's good for us to ask you and find out from you what's important to you. What are your biggest wins? What are the hardest part about being in real estate for you? And if we find out about some of these things, then maybe we can tailor some of our trainings going forward to be tailored more towards you guys too. So that's kind of what this is all about. So thanks for joining us, guys. Next week, we are going to have another awesome Tactical Tuesday. We look forward to that. And for our Ignited members, we will see you over in our Ignited session in about 10 minutes or so at the top of the hour. And guys, if you are wondering, because we talk about it all the time, what is this Ignited thing that Corey and Tiffany always talk about? It is a mentorship program that you can become a part of. Anybody here in Fearless can become a part of. Obviously, there's a cost involved in that. But if you do join us, then you get the Ignited sessions, which we jump on Zoom and we kind of answer your questions. Right now, we are doing, last month we did Opportunity October, which was kind of like giving everybody a 1-minute pitch to pitch an opportunity and practice pitching. This is good stuff, guys, for you to be able to raise capital, for you to be able to go out there and raise capital, buy as much real estate as you want to buy. And that's really what the whole purpose of our program is for, to raise the capital so you can go out there and do what you want to do when it comes to real estate investment. So if you've ever wondered about what our Ignited program is about, or you wanted to get some more information about it, Jules just shared the link in our chat. You can just click on that link and book a call with me, and I'll just describe it to you. I'll show you a little bit behind the scenes, and then we can take it from there. Okay, so thanks for joining us again tonight. We will see our Ignite members in about 8 minutes over in our laser session, and have a great night, everybody, and we will see you again for Tactical Tuesday next week.